welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today, the dynamic duo of Daniel Mangana and Alyx King. This is your Daily Dose of Happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. And in actual fact, Daniel's going to be joining us shortly. He's wrapping up a course that he's been offering through Facebook, based on the Micro to Millions course that he offers. It's a little 4-day thing he's been doing. And so we'll get a little bit of input from him about how that's been going. But meantime, Alyx and I are going to keep you entertained for a few minutes. Oh, good. God bless you. My goodness. What a way to start. And just before we got going, Alyx, you were telling me that you had a little bit of a follow-up to what we talked about last week, because last week we were talking about boundaries, and, well, this is law of attraction, isn't it? You focus your attention on something, right? And then you get more of it. So what was the more of it that you got?
So since that day, actually before this and that day, people have not been respecting my space. Ooh. So like my actual house, and the fact that I don't know why you're calling me before 10 a.m. and after 10 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, or it's sending me notifications, anything. Why is my phone going off after 10 p.m.? I don't like that. So I made a post, and I made a post about it, and I said, these are my boundaries. Don't call me after 10. Don't call me before 10 a.m. And that includes my husband's phone, because guess who he sleeps next to? Because it's mainly his people. It's not even my friends. They know better.
You have them well trained.
So I made that post. I got a couple of comments of people that realized it might have been them. And then comments from people who didn't realize it was them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, if you don't see it, you don't see it. I don't know what to tell you. Mm. And I was like, if you come to my house, clean up your stuff, because your maid and your mother don't live here.
Fair point.
Mm-hmm. And then, so the second incident with boundaries I had was the next day. Okay. Kenny and I had posted our wedding website, so, people can know for accommodations and our registry.
Right.
And so a couple of his friends who weren't invited to the wedding were like, oh, I can't wait to go. That's totally fine. Everyone thinks they're going to go. So I had commented under their comment. I said, I'm sorry, we're at capacity. But I will kindly send you a Zoom link in October, thinking I'm being nice. And this person comes back at me and goes, oh no, I'm Kenny's friend from 20 years ago. And I was like, okay, but I haven't heard your name until right now. So, again, I reiterate, we are at capacity. Invites have already been sent. I am sorry. Oh no. They were trying me that day. They really were.
How did it all play out though? Because part of the reason that we put boundaries up is to encourage people to respect them. So that becomes the next question. Are people respecting the boundaries, especially the ones who didn't want to?
So far, yes.
They are. Okay. So that's good. That demonstrates how effective boundaries can be. That's really good. Yeah.
And how firm you need to be when explaining them.
This is true. Yes. Firmness and clarity, I find, are the two most important things. Mm-hmm. Because the more clear that we are, the more clear they are. Exactly. And it becomes more difficult to say, well, I didn't really understand what you were saying, or to misunderstand deliberately, or whatever else. Well, we know what that's like, right? We've all been there. We've all experienced that. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, you're also bringing back to mind what it was like when Louise and I married back in 1999. And, there's a lot.
What I was doing in 1999?
What were you doing in 1999?
I was being a ninth grader.
You were being a ninth grader. Okay, well, that makes sense. But back in the Stone Ages, before the 21st century came along, we were dealing with the same kinds of issues, because there's 1,001 things you're trying to do when you're getting ready for a wedding. And it's just, you're doing it in a sense, you're doing it the smart way.
That you're coming. I'm the bride. What do you mean? I tell you if you're coming.
Well, I understand that, yes. And apparently there are some who don't truly grasp the concept. But
and if his friend from 20 years ago and haven't spoken to him and I've never met you, why would I invite you? I don't know you.
Or more precisely, just how much of a friend are you if you won't talk to your friend for 20 years?
We've been friends since we were kids. Okay, good for you.
Well, that's nice.
My friends that I've been friends with since we were kids, we still talk. So yes, they're invited. They all met him.
And isn't that what it's about anyway? It's about having the people who you're currently close to be a part of your celebration. So
exactly.
Makes total sense.
I didn't want to be taking pictures with strangers. That's just not something I like to do.
Well, I don't know about you. In my case, and with Louise, there was inevitably a certain degree of strangeness just because I didn't know everybody on her side. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do quite a few, but not all of them, including some relatives that I'd heard a lot about, but I'd never met until our wedding day. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. I actually had a couple of my relatives, including one in particular, who shares a first name with me, by the way, who I had not seen that Walter in probably 25 years, something like that. But it was a treat having him come because, he's a great guy. It's just that we had gone in such different directions. We just didn't communicate. So it can be a good thing. But the one key point is you have to actually want that person to be there. Yeah. And that's the part that people kind of skip over. I actually wanted Walter to be there, and it was great that he could make it. I was actually surprised that he came, to be perfectly honest. Mm-hmm. I was pleased, but I was just shocked because, like I said, we hadn't talked in so long. It was funny too, because when I finally saw him the day before, we were going over to visit, I guess it was, where my uncle was staying. My uncle's family was staying in a hotel, and we were going over to see them, and I didn't realize that Walter was with them, which would make sense. Actually, Walter was his son, so, it fits. But anyway, this guy approaches me, and he's clearly a Thiessen. There was no doubt about that. And he's walking toward me, and he says, "I'll bet you don't know who I am." In the back of my mind, I'm saying, "You're absolutely right. I have no idea who you are." And so I started guessing all of his siblings. I guessed all of their names because I hadn't seen them in a few years either. Yeah. And oh, you must be Walter. Yeah, that's me. Oh my God. And it was a very exciting kind of a moment. But for that first few moments, it's like, okay, which one are you?
Yeah, see, I didn't want any of that at my wedding. So I was like, I got to know, at least spoken to on the phone, but thanks to COVID, video chatting. So I've met everyone.
Actually, that reminds me of another situation. My uncle, this is the same uncle. My uncle, at the end of this month, on May 30th, he is about to turn 105.
Whoa!
Yeah, just a little longevity going on in the family.
All right, you got time.
In the summer of his 100th birthday, I went to visit for the birthday and got to meet basically most of the clan that are on his side of the family that we didn't have much interaction with. And I'm looking around at all these people, and you can tell they are all Thiessens. They all have the right characteristics, and I didn't know who any of them were.
Aw.
And so I turned to one of my cousins who I did know, right? At least I knew who my cousins were. And I said, "I don't know who half these people are." He says, "That's okay. I don't either."
Oh, no.
But I did get to meet most of them, and that was really good. Cool. So I guess it just goes to show it really comes down to what it is that you want. And in that case, I wanted to know who they were, even though I had no clue.
There you go.
So how's it working out for you in terms of, because you've been planning this wedding for well over a year now. How is that long thing working? Is it working better than it does for most people? Does it actually give you time to breathe? It does. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
And I did it just in time because now the pandemic is almost over.
Perfect timing, I should say.
Perfect timing. I skipped the whole thing because there's so many pandemic brides that had to end up eloping or having a small wedding or backyard wedding. And I'm just like, no, I wasn't, not about that life.
Yeah, I was just reading an article about a couple that were going to marry in New York City, and they had to cancel 3 times.
Oh, yep.
Like, oh, gee. Yow.
Yeah. I'm part of a bride group on Facebook, and there's a whole section already tagged out for postponing for due to COVID.
Really?
Like,
Wow.
yeah, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you know, all that stuff. So it's a great group, actually. It's very helpful.
Well, that does sound good. And given how many brides have gone through that, I would imagine the collection of information is substantial,
Oh, yeah,
so that's a good thing.
You ask one question, you get 100 answers. It's great.
Right? Yeah. And all the ones who had to deal with the COVID weddings that didn't happen, they had all the answers too. So that's good.
Exactly. Yep.
Very helpful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to say, I'm looking forward to it. We do have our room reserved. Yeah, it's going to be a good thing. And
party of the year.
It will be. I believe it. And plus, it's also a great opportunity to go to the Cape. Anytime you're going to the Cape, it's a good thing, So
True
to
story.
go there for a wedding, right? It just makes it even better,
Exactly.
It just improves the whole thing.
And it will be right after on season. It will be off season.
That's true. That's right, because it's in October. Yeah, so it'll be relatively quiet, which I know you prefer.
Oh, God. I love October.
I know we're not at Memorial Day, but are the hordes there yet?
Oh, they're here.
Are they?
They are here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kind of figured they might be early this year to make up for the fact that they didn't come last year.
Exactly. Oh,
yeah.
I love last year. 2020 was the best for me. I don't care what anybody says.
It's all about the perspective.
Exactly.
Well, I hope you're at least getting the opportunity, even if you have to deal with the traffic occasionally. I hope you're at least getting out and enjoying this weather because the weather has been gorgeous.
I've been out.
Well, I mean, just the camera is showing it. It looks beautiful. But,
Thank you.
But I mean, I don't know what you're getting. I imagine it's perhaps a tad cooler than what we've got, but it's right now. It's gorgeous weather. This is May weather.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's been in the 70s all week.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, beautiful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest frustration is this is also the biggest time of the year for the gardening business. So I'm spending most of my time indoors. Oh
no.
Sitting at computers all day. But I do make it a point to get out. This is part of, mental health, right? And vibrational health.
Mm-hmm.
This is vibrational health. And today, well, actually, the last 2 days I was kind of forced into it. Many listeners will have noticed that there was no show yesterday. And that's because the people from the cable company took the internet offline in our area to do some maintenance on it. And we were offline for, like 7 hours, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was substantial. So we couldn't do a show yesterday. Obviously, I can't talk to Cindy and Monique, without the internet. It's kind of difficult.
Right.
And then got up today, and I'm doing some work trying to catch up on what I couldn't do yesterday because I needed the internet to do everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes down again. I said, no, you can't do this.
What vibration were you putting out?
Well, the best part was like 5 minutes ago, Louise had 5 minutes ago, 5 minutes before that. 5 minutes before it went out, Louise said, "Oh, you got to go outside. It's gorgeous." I said, "Oh, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I got to catch up on what happened yesterday." 5 minutes later, the internet goes out.
Okay.
So this is a little tap on the shoulder, is what this was.
Right.
And so I said, "Okay, you don't have to tap twice. I got it." Got on the walking shoes, got outside, and it was gorgeous. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Just beautiful to be out. And the best part of that was when I got back, the internet was back.
Nice.
Yeah. So we didn't have to miss 2 shows in a row. That's a good thing.
Yep.
And we didn't have to, well, especially for me, because I call this your daily dose of happy. I really should call it my daily dose of happy.
Big fact.
Because that's really that's what the motivating factor was from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. So Daniel should be around, coming along shortly as soon as he's finishing up with, he's currently be doing a 4-day mini course based on his Micro to Millions class. And I think it's actually like a precursor where, the people who pass through it get the opportunity to join the larger program. But he'll be joining us soon. In fact, I want to actually kind of, pick his brain a little bit because he is the money man, right? He's the one who knows how to do all the money stuff. Mm-hmm. So since he just completed a course, it's fresh in his mind. Probably a good time to pick the old brain.
Yeah, I agree.
But in the meantime, so let's see what else is worth bringing up here in terms of vibration.
Ooh, well, very low vibration on Monday.
Why is that?
Filing taxes.
Oh.
No,
That's
this
an
is
interesting
my first
thing.
time filing my own taxes as an adult. So it was quite stressful. And I wasn't even
Okay.
doing mine. I was doing Kenny's, but they never sent his jobs before COVID, never sent his W-2s. And we never got the 1099. So I had to file for an extension. Oh my God. It was too much. And then oh God. Bringing myself back up. Anyway.
Well, taxes and filing taxes is one of those things that we can use as a springboard. Mm-hmm. And I say that with someone who has years of experience getting all down and frustrated about doing taxes. Mm-hmm. But what I learned over the years is it's a great opportunity to practice changing and pivoting to where I want to be. Sure. Because it's certainly not something I really want to focus on in a way that, in any way that makes it more challenging and more difficult. And that's what I ended up doing all the time anyway, mm-hmm. is I would make it more challenging and more difficult. But once I finally used it to start pivoting and to practice, okay, yes, all right, I don't like this thing that's happening right now, but I'm going to pivot over to something I do like, or maybe I'll just take a break, or I'll do whatever it takes to get myself into that higher vibe place. Well, not only did it work, but I'll tell you a secret. We got the taxes done earlier this year than we ever had before. Mm-hmm. And it was largely because, well, first of all, we were still locked down by COVID, or semi-lockdown. Right. And second, because I had changed my attitude about it. So now, well, you know, with software actually makes it a whole lot easier. Everybody does it with software these days.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, I've been through it a few times, so I pretty much know all the different ways I can get tripped up. I just went into it with the idea it was going to go smoothly, and it did. I mean, the whole thing. Now we don't have simple taxes because I have a business. Louise has a business. Those are all Schedule C's. You know, there's some complexity to what we have to do. I got the whole tax thing done in an hour.
You lucky.
But that's my point. It's not just lucky.
I know.
I had the vibrational focus. Now, if you had asked me that about what had happened, say, 3 years ago, mm-hmm. I guarantee it took a week.
Right.
Because the vibration was getting better at that point, but it mm-hmm. still wasn't quite there. Mm-hmm. This year, I've been practicing and practicing so much and so hard on just shifting over to a different way of looking at it, a different way mm-hmm. of feeling about it, that when I sat down to do it, it was done in an hour, and I was blown away. And not only was it done, we were getting a nice refund. Nice. I mean, what more could you get, you know?
Right?
Get the taxes done in an hour and get money coming in. This is good.
That's how I like it.
Oh, and then on top of that, because of, you know, they have all these government programs to stimulate the economy and so forth, we found out we're actually going to get some money back that we didn't know we were going to get back.
Oh, like the money game?
Well, actually, it's going to go on the money. It's going to be my next step in the money game. I'm on step 6 right now, so it's going to take me to step 7. And yeah, and it's a nice sizable chunk of money that's going to be coming through, and totally unexpected. And it's all because of the COVID legislation. Mm-hmm. If it weren't for the COVID legislation, that wouldn't have happened. But it was, you know, a special case, so we're going to get a nice chunk of money. Like, oh, okay, this is good. I'm liking this. This is a whole different way of looking at taxes.
Well, I like your way better.
I like it too. I'm going to stick with this.
I'm going to adapt it for when I file the extension.
Yeah. Well, it pays. It pays off. My sister's been going through the same thing. As you know, my mom passed away about a year and a half ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my sister, she probably is going to regret this for years. She insisted that she take over as executor. I was named executor. Mm-hmm. But she said, well, I'm right here where everything has to be done. You really should make me executor. I said, you sure you want that? Because there's a lot of responsibilities, and she was insistent and adamant. So I said, okay, I'll make you the executor. So I handed it over to her, and she's been pulling her hair out ever since, because it's incredible all the things you have to do. It is a lot of work when you're the executor. There's a ton of things. Well, we finally, or more precisely, she finally has gotten through the labyrinth. Mm-hmm. And we're now at the point where we're going to be able to start divvying up the shares of the estate within probably the next month or so. So, yeah. So there's just another example of how when you are able to get past stuff, which is getting past your own stuff, mm-hmm. things happen. Yeah. Things open up in a good way. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you about something else too. Actually, continuation of a story that I started telling about, what was it, about a week and a half ago. And at that point in time, I wasn't ready to share any of the details, but I just wanted at that point to talk about how I had been raising vibration and looking for ways to increase monetary flow.
Mm-hmm.
And one particular day, I don't remember exactly how I told the story, but one particular day I got into a really good vibe, and I just really threw myself into it in terms of, okay, I've been patient long enough. Let's get this thing going. Let's get the excitement going. Let's, do some really clear focusing. Let's stay consistent with it, all that kind of thing. And within 24 hours of that, I got an idea that came to me out of the blue.
Oh, a new idea? I love ideas.
Yeah, well, that's what's so weird about it. It is new, but it's with something that's not even close to new.
Okay.
And that's about as far as I went to describe it the last time around. Well, I'll describe it a little bit further. I'm kind of ready to talk about it a little bit more. I'm sure you were describing how you're a member of at least one Facebook group. I'm sure you're a member of others. I am as well. Many people are. I've created some Facebook groups. And there's an interesting thing about Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much do what you want with them.
Yeah.
As long as you do so within what Facebook calls their community rules,
mm-hmm.
you're okay. You can do almost anything you want. You can even charge people to be in a group. There are actually, you can, yeah. There are actually what they call buy and sell groups. It's a kind of Facebook group. And the purpose of the group is for buying and selling, and you have to pay a fee to the guy or the woman who created the group, and yeah, the whole thing. Which kind of, I understand why people are kind of surprised at this, because we assume, well, it's Facebook, so you can't really compete with them because they're doing advertising and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as it turns out, the way they've written the rules for Facebook groups, yeah, you can actually charge to do things. You can be a site, you can offer site ratings. You can be buying and selling things. You can offer advertising. You can do all kinds of things. And I got to thinking about it. I said, well, why isn't anybody offering advertising? And the reason I thought about that was I have a group that I started on a lark about 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just for this local area. It's a regional group. It's all about stuff that goes on in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it, I allowed people to advertise their local businesses and so forth. So most of it tends to be ads. There are posts about events going on and so forth. And I often create those to help balance out the ads. But it's mostly been ads, and Facebook has given me a hard time about it. I didn't even notice that they weren't giving me up. I just kind of took it for granted because, well, I wasn't really doing anything. It was just an experiment, see what happens, no big deal. But I got thinking about it right after I decided to raise the vibration. I said, that's really interesting. All these people have been submitting these ads and Facebook doesn't complain. And that's what made me look into it more. And I realized you really can charge for advertising in a Facebook group.
Okay.
So I'm actually hiring a programmer to help me create a software system that'll enable me to sell advertising for my Facebook group.
Okay.
And if even a fraction of them pay a small insertion fee, because I'm not going to charge very much, it'll be a nice income.
Yeah.
So, this is pretty cool. In fact, it's so cool, I went and created 9 other groups. I figure I'll grow them up. By the time I've got this one figured out, the other 9 will have grown to a nice size, and I can start doing it there. Right?
Oh, wow.
But I was blown away because I kept thinking to myself, why hasn't anybody else thought of this?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like, has everybody been just kind of scared off with, well, Facebook won't let you advertise on Facebook unless you're doing it through them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it is. But the fact is, you can do anything like that in a Facebook group, just as long as you stick to their community rules. As long as you're not, posting hate stuff or,
right.
violent crimes or pornography or, whatever that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As long as you're not doing any of that kind of stuff, it goes. Everything goes. It's okay.
Huh. Well, I just learned something new today.
So, if you have something that you offer as a service online, you can create a group and you can charge in the group for the service. If you're a coach, you could actually charge for coaching in your group.
I'm going to tell my brother, because that would be great for his personal training.
Yeah. Oh, sure. That'd be great for a personal trainer. Actually, anything that you do.
Well, I was going to say, especially with COVID, he's been doing at-home workouts online.
Yep.
So I think that would be great for him.
And of course, with Facebook people expect stuff to be free, so he probably wanted to offer some free group activities as well. I mean, that's basically what Daniel does. Daniel has a whole bunch of these free things that he offers. Yeah. And then for those who are kind of showing that they're more advanced and ready to take the next step, then he has something that you pay, I don't know, a couple $100 for. And then if you go through that one, you still want more, than there's one that costs $1,000 or something. I don't know what his pricing is, but the point is he has, various graduate levels, so to speak. And well, so there's another example of it. There are lots, there are actually no limits other than Facebook community rules as to what you can do to monetize something through a Facebook group. It's really wild.
That's crazy. I bet as soon as it pops off that they're going to start making rules about that.
I don't know about that, because I've checked around and there are a bunch of groups that have advertising in their groups. Like a lot of them. Yeah. Where's the crackdown?
I don't know.
It's been going on for years. Like I said, my group's 7 years old now. 7 years of advertising. You would think they would have noticed by now. Right?
Yeah.
I think they have noticed. And I'm thinking about it. They actually do advertise, Facebook advertises to the people who are members of the group. But the way they do it is they don't do it within the group. See, I think that what they've done is they visualized Facebook groups as being a separate entity that they can take advantage of to sell advertising to the individuals of them. Because they know if you join a widget group, you're interested in widgets. Right. So anytime that somebody wants to advertise something that ties into widgets, they can focus in on you and send it at you in your timeline because they know who you are. Right? So their ads are all timeline based. Yeah. That's why I think they're okay with the idea of groups kind of operating semi-autonomously because they still know what you're doing. They're just going to shift, they're going to advertise to you, not through the group. They're going to advertise outside the group to you. It's a really interesting model. Now, there are going to be some people, of course, who don't like advertising at all on social media. I can't really help them with that other than to say, you might want to change your perspective in some way to make it feel better. But other than that, I'm sure there are going to be people who object, but I figure go with the flow.
Why not?
Yeah. Can you think about all the different possibilities that come out of that? Anybody who's doing anything online, running any kind of a business online, if you can figure out a way to turn it into a Facebook group and then create some kind of a platform system, like a stepped up platform, you have a free level and then you have other advanced levels that you charge for at lower and then higher rates. You can do it through a Facebook group and you can monetize to basically create a living for yourself any way you want to. I mean, that just kind of staggers the imagination.
A little bit.
I mean, imagine if, your bride's group. I'm not saying that they should do this. I'm just saying imagine if the creator of that group, or you create your own, you create this bride's group and create what they call a sales funnel, right? You basically invite people in and you do the kind of things that they're doing in that group, sharing information. How do you get through COVID when you're trying to plan for your wedding, yada, yada, yada. And there's all the other stuff that goes with it. What do you do about a videographer, your DJ or whatever else?
Exactly.
Where do you get your flowers? Yeah. What's the best place to get a dress? Who's got the best bargains on this, that, or the other thing? You get all that kind of thing going, and then you bring in, the wedding consultant to make a special presentation, and the wedding consultant does this free presentation that tells you more and more about it. And at the end of the presentation, if you want to know more, I'm going to do some special group coaching. Only 10 people are going to be in this group, and then you charge, I don't know, $50 to be in the group or whatever it is. And all of a sudden you create a monetization channel.
Wow.
I mean, there's no limit to this thing when you think about it.
Right.
There is no limit at all. And it's just been sitting there. That's the part that blows my mind. It's been sitting right in front of all of us for, when did Facebook come around? 2004. So what's that? 17 years. It's been sitting right in front of us and we didn't notice.
Right.
What is wrong with us? Well, our vibration wasn't high enough to recognize.
Facebook groups weren't a thing in the beginning.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it took a few
years. Facebook groups are kind of recent.
Call it 10 to 12 years then.
Yeah.
No, just because I don't remember exactly when they came in. You're right; they didn't come in immediately. But even so, 10 years with nobody figuring this out. I mean, well, not nobody. Some people have figured this out.
Obviously,
they just aren't sharing. I'm here to share. About this, I think. Well, anybody who's complaining that wherever they are, they're just not able to put money into their lives, which of course is what Daniel caters to, people who have that mindset. Their excuses just kind of weigh quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a question of, what can you imagine? I'll tell you something that I ran into that somebody imagined, that we actually bought a product. The story of Joy, our cat, who got attacked last October by the predator, and he has made a wonderful recovery. The tricky part for him is that he was always an outdoor cat, and now he's an indoor cat. Mm-hmm. And he has adapted to that better than I thought he would, to be perfectly honest. He likes being with us. It's the connection to us that makes that worthwhile. Yeah. But we are at the time of year, we normally be out prowling 24 hours a day, and you can tell he kind of misses it. So, as you know, we live in an apartment, and the back end of our apartment, the front end is first floor, the back end is second floor. So, it's an apartment built into a hill, that kind of a thing. And the back end has this little deck back there. It's not really, really big. And Louise and I were thinking, well, what if we were to put some cat netting up there? You can actually get netting that's designed for cats so that he can't jump through that, but that way he can go out on the deck. And so we did, and it works. There's no catch. The cats, we have to let him in and out in order to get out to the deck. Yeah. And the time of year now when you want to run an AC, well, you don't want to leave the door open all the time.
True.
So you need a cat door. Well, this is an apartment. We can't just install a cat door. Oh, but we can, it turns out. Oh. It turns out there's a woman who has an Etsy account who has created a foldable cat door that will go into a slider.
No.
She sells it for the size anywhere $70 to $120, something like that. Custom made. And we ordered one. We're going to get one. And it's very well thought out. She doesn't mass market it. What's that?
How does it work?
It's made of a vinyl like plastic. So that most of it is this plastic material, and then there's a flap at the bottom made out of neoprene. Okay. And you can actually trim the neoprene to make it adjust to whatever the height of your slider door is.
Oh, okay.
And it folds like a 4-piece accordion. So you unfold it into the quarters, and it's like 4 stiff sections that are all hinged together. So you unfold it and you just slip it in place. It slides in place in like seconds. And then at the bottom is the cat door. And because it's this vinyl with the neoprene, it's pretty well insulated. Right. Now you can actually buy prefabricated stuff that's made out of aluminum, but it's aluminum, so the heat's going to pass through that. So this is actually better than the aluminum ones, which, by the way, are more expensive. Of course. So there's an example of somebody who came up with a better solution. She doesn't manufacture it commercially. She makes each one by hand, which isn't ideal necessarily, but it does keep her busy, I'm sure. And she sells it on Etsy. Now, can you imagine if she created a Facebook group for pet owners? And well, I know that there are such groups. I don't know if she has. But imagine
that's just dumb if you don't.
But she made the same mentality that so many people have been in, that you can't monetize using a Facebook group. Well, now that we've kind of opened that door from a crack to wide open, if she gets word of this, she'll know, oh, geez, maybe I really should be using a Facebook group. To do things like selling my dog and cat door, you know? And I mean, just a very small example. It shows just how powerful and just how big the potential is. This can apply to any idea you can come up with that can be sold online. And how many of those are there? Millions. I mean, you might as well ask how many people there are on Earth. That'll give you at least a close approximation.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, it's mind-boggling. So I just feel like I fell into something huge. And there's the piece of me. Now, I do understand why it is that it isn't something that people are just readily doing. There aren't any apps that will automatically do this ad publishing for you.
Okay.
Nobody's created those. Why? I don't know, but that's basically what I'm hiring a programmer to build for me, to build that platform to do that. But my God, this is crazy.
Oh gosh.
I mean, and at some point, you're right, Facebook is going to like think twice about their policy, I think. But you read their definitely allows it. You read the rules and it definitely allows it. But I'm going to be coming in, I'm going to be charging. I mean, if you buy a Facebook ad, now it depends on where the person is, where they live and what their interests are, how old they are, all that kind of stuff. But like, for instance, in the region where I live, where this group is, typically, if you were to out what they charge, it works out to about $12 to $13 per thousand. So what they call $12 to $13 CPM to advertise on Facebook. If you're in, say, New York City or Philadelphia or one of the big cities, probably $20 to $30 CPM.
Okay.
If you're in a really, really small rural area, probably like, $8 to $10 CPM, something like that. So it's a range. It's all over the place. But I'm planning to come in and sell at $1 CPM.
Wow.
And the reason I'm planning to do that is Facebook can force their ad to anybody's attention at anybody's timeline. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Instead, the people who are going to see it, the whole group isn't necessarily going to see it. It's only going to be those people who have in some way an interest in seeing something like that. So it's going to be a smaller percentage who see it. So I figure, $1 as opposed to $12 to $13, that's a fair ratio. That's the logic behind it. But when you look at it from the point of view of what's going to cost the advertiser's going to say, whoa, what a bargain that is compared to Facebook.
Right.
So this is where your question becomes a good one. How long does it take before Facebook says, no, that's not fair? And I don't know the answer to that. Even if they do decide that that's not fair, that they're going to do something about that, I think I know how to handle it. Because the platform that I'm building is actually being based on something that already does exist for posting ads on a website. And what I'm doing is hiring a programmer to take that basic software and adapt it to also be able to post to Facebook in addition to posting to a website. So I'm thinking, well, what if, this is basically, it's like an events and activities group. What's going on? It's called the Farmington Valley Happenings. What's going on in the Farmington Valley, where I live?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, well, why not create a website to go along with it? And the website is basically a listing. It's a direct of events, So here are all the things going on in the valley or just outside the valley, things to go do, theater stuff, whatever it might be. And once I'm adding that back to the website, then I can also be publishing articles from the website to the group. So, for instance, Joe Blow's band is playing at the XYZ club. Well, I can write that up on the website. I can link to that in a post in the Facebook group. And then after I've posted it there, people will sometimes click through to see the original article, especially if I don't include the entire article in my post. So now I'm creating traffic back to my website. So you do that long enough and often enough with enough posts, now more and more you're getting the members of the group to start frequenting the website. Well, what does that do? That knocks you up in the Google rankings. Because Google recognizes that. That's one of their key factors for deciding who gets ranked. So I'm creating a ranked website just by feeding stuff into a Facebook group.
Okay.
And monetizing it at the same time. So my point is, if you get to the point where Facebook starts to, frown their nose at it, well, if you've been doing it long enough and you've been feeding people back to your website, you've got an established business on the website, even if they kick you out of Facebook.
Okay.
So
you thought this through.
Again, it doesn't really matter. What Facebook does doesn't really matter. And I actually think that just by maintaining the vibration of, well, it's all going to work out well, because I believe it is going to all work out well, they're not going to kick me off anyway, so it doesn't matter. So you're right. I've been giving a lot of thought to this. And all of my thought keeps leading to in the same direction. This is cool. This is hot. And it's hot and cool at the same time. I mean, this is a great, great thing.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm actually, for the longest time, I felt like I was really good on law of attraction when it came to relationships, when it came to health, when it came to changing careers, all that kind of stuff. For me, and I think most people have like one weak area. For me, the weak area was always money. Money's no longer going to be the weak area.
Good for you.
I mean, that's exciting. Because when you finally break through and you're covering all bases, not only are you yourself into living that life of abundance, you're actually feeling it. And you don't have to work at it anymore. You actually feel it.
Yeah.
Speaking of a man who knows all about a life of abundance, I'm going to bring him in right now because Daniel's now joining us.
Yay!
And I know you just got off your 4-day course. I was watching the tail end for today's show. But,
we went a bit longer than normal.
Well, that's all right.
We went a bit longer today, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And people who haven't seen it yet, we're leaving them up for the next 11 days. They're going to be available in the Drew and Dan Facebook group, drewanddan.com/Facebook. Get yourself some. We've had some crazy manifestations showing up already this week.
Really?
It's been great. Yeah. It's been good fun.
Yeah. You were calling this, what was it, the money challenge? What were you calling this?
There were basically two names for it.
Oh, okay. Mixed branding.
There were two names for it. So we had some of our partners that were sharing the event with people that didn't really agree with the original name. So
okay.
It was the official name is A Date with Money. So we're taking people on a date with money this week.
Okay.
But Money Miracles was another name that was floating around on the internet as well.
Money Miracles, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
I like them both.
Yeah, they're both good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit confusing having multiple names. For me. I wasn't allowed to say the name on any of the recordings because it was going to be confusion.
Oh my God.
So it's like, yeah, welcome to the challenge.
That's right.
Welcome to the challenge. Yeah, that's what we could do. But it's been good fun.
I even picked up some of the notes from what you had in your description. You had 4 different basic topics you talked about. You talked about money flows. You talked about money blocks, DNA, and then money DNA with a deep dive, which I thought was an interesting title.
Yeah. We're looking at that too. So we're looking at, all of the different. So what we did this week is we took people on a journey through the flow funnel. That's why we did 4 days instead of 5. We took people on a journey through the flow funnel. So we looked at intention, specifically group intention and community intention. We looked at vibrational flow and frequency and healing that. We looked at limiting beliefs, mindsets and blocks and healed those. And then money DNA is how we make the embodiment happen with grace and ease.
Okay. All right. And what's the deep dive part?
We basically, yesterday I brought someone to the stage and I actually did a money blocks dissection for them of them live. And then we did it today with someone's money DNA.
Nice.
So they did their homework of getting certain tests, and then I broke down their money DNA in like 5 minutes.
Very cool. All right. So you basically gave people a taste of what happens when they go through your coaching is what it amounts to.
Yeah. I mean, coaching with me really is the group coaching you're gonna get
right
in now. But more importantly than that, it was just giving people the insight into how the different pieces that I presented to them over the course of this week work practically.
Okay.
So, for example, the person who was selected yesterday, we went through and showed how a simple thing that happened when he was probably around the age of 6 was limiting him.
Wow.
After that, now he's had 20 grand sharp in his account this week.
Woo! Whoa!
So
yeah.
So, once you clear the decks with this stuff, then abundance can come through. Abundance wants to come to us. It's not like, oh, sorry, Oh no, I don't really like your haircut. not, not coming to your bank account. That's not how it goes, right? Abundance wants to come to us. The universe always wants to expand and experience more through us. So it wants us to have more choice and more opportunity so we can experience more and have that encoded within us. So when we get out of the way, which is what we've been doing, really just tapping into that flow, tapping into that vibe, and then getting out of the way.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge thing to do. I was telling Alyx before you were to join us today about how I had been having my own little money magic breakthrough about a week and a half ago. It was based off of a challenge that Cindy and Monique and I did, where we were trying to, we had kind of set the intention of having some really cool stuff come to us. And for me, the thing I was asking for was basically some strong message that says that what I was trying to do monetarily was going to do some results that I was looking for, give me an idea of what I would need to do. And I got a really interesting flash that came to me. I was explaining it earlier. I won't go into all the detail because I just spent a bunch of time on it. But the bottom line is I was realizing just the power of Facebook groups in a way I hadn't thought of before, because I didn't realize you could actually charge for advertising in a Facebook group. I thought, whoa, why aren't more people doing that? And I did find that there are people who are doing it, but you can actually do that. And
I actually like this.
I mean, we've had these groups sitting in years now, and why hadn't we noticed this? That's the part that I'm still trying to come to terms with. How can that possibly be? But I've been researching it pretty carefully, and you can pretty much charge for anything you want to in a Facebook group, as long as you're staying within Facebook community rules. But yeah, you can do that. So I'm kind of gobsmacked on the whole thing. Like, really? How did we not know this? So yeah, that was my breakthrough this past week. And, yeah, it's interesting to hear so that you're having people who are coming through your group, had their own breakthroughs. You mentioned the guy who had 20,000 to show up in his account. You said there was some other things. Anything else?
Oh yeah, we've had a 20, we've had a 10 that have been reported, because people don't always report them. This is the thing that I find all the time. People don't report them. They don't recognize that they've had them. We've had a lot around the 2,000, the 1,000, 3,000. We've had a load of those come in. A few in the few hundred mark as well. But the thing I want everyone to remember is that the intention was to manifest $10.
$10, yeah.
$10, pounds, or euros.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's funny what happens when you open up the gates.
Extra sprinkles. It's just a $10.
Extra sprinkles.
Well, in some cases, it's drowning in the sprinkles, but I get your point.
Now I want ice cream. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'll take 20,000 sprinkles, sure.
Pop them in the larder.
That's right.
Yeah,
so,
it's been really, 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 really fun. Really, really, really.
And you said that they're going to be able to watch for the next 11 days. That's a key point because even though you're watching of it, you still get the value out of it. It's not like you lose something by not being there live.
Okay. No. Yeah. So obviously we had an invitation to sort of come and hang out with us in Micro to Millions today. So there were like some fast action bonuses around that people would have needed to sort of be ahead of the game to catch.
Yeah,
but
sure.
In terms of the magic of the actual content itself, how about it? It's there.
And it's going to benefit you is the point.
Yeah, and we've got gifts. I've given away some courses. I've given away some programs. I've given away some content. I've given away some visualizations. There's a whole gifts page that they can log into and get access to. Yeah, that's whenever they join, they can go and do that. But yeah, it's going to be available for like the next 10, 11 days. Well,
plus also the fact that they are paying attention to, I mean, I could tell just from the minutes that I was watching, it's a high energy. It's got a, kind of day feel to it. Just the listening to it is going to do something to help break up those barriers and open yourself up to new possibilities that didn't happen before. So
there will 100% be some shifts in your vibe.
Yeah.
If you come and start.
Yeah.
100%. And every day we've gone in to break one limiting belief. So yes, there's like 30 minutes of content. I did a live visualization on Tuesday. a money blocks clearing visualization on Tuesday. We taught them how to play the money game on Monday. We did some mental money blocks clearing on yesterday. Today we did money DNA. But every day we also broke one specific limiting belief.
Nice.
So even if you go through just to address breaking those limiting beliefs, then the needle must move for you. It's physically impossible that it won't.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting thing about limiting beliefs, even if it's not a limiting belief that you have, I just know this not from your course necessarily, but from other experiences with this kind of thing. Even if it's not a belief you have, if you're there while the limiting belief is being removed, you still benefit from the removal.
That's true.
Which is really wild. That's right.
Healing and momentum.
Yeah. But it's almost as if our minds or our subconscious minds kind of latch on saying, well, I want some of that too, so I'm going to do some healing even though my thing isn't about that.
And the thing is that even witnessing someone else's healing about something else, number one, you've witnessed healing. And so any limiting beliefs that you have around healing being possible, full stop, get moved away because you've got first-hand evidence of healing happening.
That's right.
Especially if someone's got a challenge that you don't have, because now outside of your experience, you've got additional context of healing happening. So at an unconscious level, that creates evidence for healing being possible. And then also when you celebrate and uplift other people, there's what do they call it? A vibrational boomerang? A vibrational echo. That's the one.
Oh,
so
right.
When
Yes,
you
I've heard that
celebrate
term.
other people's healing, it actually sends back good vibes karmically back to you to support your own healing.
Right.
There's so much more benefit to it. It's bonkers what happens.
It is bonkers. It's just insane what does happen, and it's exciting and it's encouraging, I think, especially if you've got a lot of stuff to remove. If you got a lot of stuff, a lot of blocks in the way, just seeing something move for somebody else can actually unblock some of your own blocks. I mean, that's mind stretching.
Yeah. But
it's
all
cool
an adventure.
stuff.
It's all an adventure as well. You know, we're in this human game, this human experience. We're just having fun and rocking out and shaking it back. So when we're able to do that and to do so without having preconceived notions and ideas about what things have to look like, but just to shop and have fun, it makes life and experience as a whole just so much better, I think, anyway.
No doubt about it. Well, first of all, it takes the pressure off, which I think is probably the most important part. Right, because we bring the pressure with us, don't we? I mean, I know I do. I imagine everybody else does. You know, we bring it with us and then we allow it to hang over ourselves, and then we wonder why we aren't getting anywhere. And then we run into a group like this, and, you know, all of a sudden we just, almost unbeknownst, we noticed this other thing that was good, and all of a sudden we feel a little bit lighter. And we don't even notice that we feel lighter. But we're lighter anyway.
Right.
And we still get the benefit anyway. And it happens often enough, we even get to notice after a while. And that's when it really starts to take off. But yeah, it's so cool. All that vibrational effect and how it affects everybody is so dang cool. So, do you have it? I gotta ask. I know you just finished a course, so it's the fairest time to ask. But what's the next one coming? Because people are always going to want to know what the next thing coming is.
I'm not planning on doing anything more this year. That's one of the reasons why we.
That's it for the year. Oh, okay. So you got to go replay it then.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the reasons why we made such a big deal out of this. No, because I want to. We did a complete gut and clean up of the book Stepping Beyond Intention. We put a cover on it.
Oh, you finished that?
Yeah, we finished that now. So we're getting that one ready to go out. I saw that
Cool.
the team have given us a final draft of that. So we're looking to have that out potentially by the first week in June. And
Nice.
then I'm going to be nose down working on my next book, and that's all I really want to do. Work on my next book between now and October, when we're going to have it out. Working on it and promoting it. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be doing any more launchy stuff this year.
Wow. Do we get like a little teaser as to what's in the book?
The book is called Stop Meditating.
Oh, yeah.
You told us a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Something to look forward to. All right.
yeah, I'm doing a lot of my own personal work and just getting ready to really pour everything into this book. I really want to make this book something epic. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be focused on. So yeah, no more. We'll do like there's a couple of like virtual workshops. I'm doing a virtual retreat the weekend of the 9th of July. I'm doing a couple of little virtual workshops here and there, but not anything of this ilk, like a challenge or a masterclass or anything like that. Just the odd workshop here and there we'll be doing.
Very cool. Well, any of those are going to be good to pay attention anyway, but
Yes.
That's really good.
And if they just reach out on the app, if they want details of any of the things, by next week, they should all be on the events page of my website, dreamwithdan.com. Go on the events. But, they're going to be really reasonable. One of them, the one we're doing in, I want to say September, I'm doing Stepping Beyond Intention Live. So a whole weekend diving into the Beyond Intention paradigm and then applying it to create your ideal life. I'm doing that virtually. And this is all virtual. So no matter where they are in the world, they can come and hang out with us. So we're going to be doing that.
Very good.
Yeah.
So good stuff happening there. And by the way, do take advantage of the LOA Today app to, first of all, send in your stuff. By the way, we're also looking for people who are sending in questions, and we're getting quite a few of them that we're sharing on some of the episodes.
Nice.
But if you have questions or just commentary that you want to include, by all means do that too. And it's also a great source for, we have a lot of good free courses on there, including a couple from Dan. We got his money game on there. We have the condensed version of Stepping Beyond Intention, the Beyond Intention audio course, and a few other courses, one by Cindy Chavez, one by Linda Armstrong. There's the book that I edited a few years ago that's got 55 different manifestation stories in it, and there's more coming. So lots of good reasons to download the app from that perspective too. So yeah, do it. Get that vibe up. Get it to stay up there, and then start discovering all the cool things that are happening. What was the other thing I was going to ask you about? I forgot to write it down. Well, I'm trying to go on memory now. There was something I know it was important. Oh, yes. Are you part of the SGW thing that's coming up this weekend?
I have actually pre-recorded some content for that.
You have? Okay. All right. Yeah, because that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be in that. Yeah, so people can actually see some Danny magic there.
Woohoo! All right. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to be part of the Friday launch too. That's going to be fun. Going to be really good. And also there's Neo Positivity. He's got his something coming up, I think, this Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to be on probably the first. I got permission for like an hour.
Okay.
I got like this because Saturdays when we go and hang out, we do family time and stuff like that. So
right.
And Ariana's going this weekend as well. She's going to her dad's tomorrow. So waving goodbye to my little butt munch. So yeah, I've got like an hour. Then I'll have to just sort of listen in. After that.
We'll probably cross because I'll be on there at some point, probably earlier on too. So we'll wave to each other on the way. That's what we missed today. We're glad that you were able to finish off your program, but we missed the little bits of crooning and repartee and so forth.
Of course.
That's right. We'll bring that up next time. Mm-hmm. But hey, it was still worthwhile. Alyx and I were able to share some really cool stuff about our own experiences. Alyx shared a really cool story, a couple stories about boundary setting, flipping back to the conversation we had last time, and so it's been a very worthwhile episode. But we'll just look forward to having you on for the full show next time instead of half the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm traveling next week, so I'm going to be.
Well, except it won't be next week. It'll be the week after. Yeah. But wait, it's coming. It will be here. It just, be patient. It'll come. Oh, and Anne-Marie posting on David Strickle has a masterclass on fear. Details on the Taya Practice Facebook.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be good. So thanks for sharing. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys very much. Thank you especially to our listeners, and we'll see you all next time here on. Hey, good.